You invite a man onto a show. He starts talking about Chris Packham, whether a seagull will be able to fight a bee, and even picks against his own team, all in the sake of collecting prediction points. So how do you think Matt managed to fare last week with his choices? Yep, that's right, an incredible 3 out of 3 for Matt as he stormed to the top of our prediction table. But full credit to you in our community too. You are matching stride for stride with our supercomputer, with 50% of the predictions you've made being correct across the season. I know, I still can't believe that Spurs weren't victorious. Maybe we will be able to get that one correct this week. Because it is with Tottenham that we kick off this week's edition of the Analyst Hat-Trick, as we look forward to yet another London derby for them, this time against Chelsea. And I've got some omens for you as well. You see, Spurs have lost 4 of their last 6 London derbies, the same as they had actually managed to lose in their previous 18 of them. And of course, they are on a run of 2 consecutive defeats in London derbies as well. The last time they lost 3 in a row came back in 2005. And the third of those defeats, yep, that's right, it came at home to Chelsea. Now that hasn't put off our win predictor model from making the Lily-Whites the slightest of favourites in this game, with a 39.5% chance of victory compared to Chelsea's 31.7%. Chelsea, though, have won each of their last 5 away league London derbies, although they've never won 6 in a row on the road before in the Premier League's history. But even if Spurs are victorious, don't expect them to score in the first half. You see, since joining the Premier League in 2018, Nuno Espirito Santos' sides have failed to score in the first half in 83 of their 118 matches. That's a hit rate of around about 70% where they failed to score in the opening 45 minutes. And Tottenham's shots per game average at the moment of 9.5 is their lowest in the history of the competition, well, at least since 2003, where data has been recorded by Opta of such a stat. And I think, as expected here, despite the faults of our win probability model, Chelsea appear to be passing the eye test with you, making them the overwhelming favourites to be victorious on Sunday. The Blues were winners in this game last season, and you've seen no reason why it won't be any different this time around. Right then, we've heard from the supercomputer, we've heard from each and every one of you. It's now time to find out what us analyst contributors feel. And join me this week, he's back once again, Ollie Hopkins. Here's his thoughts on what the outcome will be between Tottenham and Chelsea.
The omens aren't good here for Spurs fans. They've lost 4 of their last 6 Premier League London derby matches, and Chelsea have won each of their last 5 away London derby games. It's clear it's in attack really that Spurs need to improve. They're averaging just 9.5 shots per game in the Premier League under Nuno, which is the lowest average on record for the club in the competition's history. Meanwhile, only Watford and Leicester have a lower XG total than Spurs. So it's hard to see really how and where they can trouble this Chelsea back line. The Blues have kept a clean sheet in 61% of the Premier League matches under Thomas Tuchel, which is the best clean sheet ratio of any manager at a single club in the competition's history. And obviously they have Lukaku up top, who's so clinical. They don't need to create much for him to bag a goal or 2. Chelsea looks so strong, so ominous. I think they have way too much here for Spurs in this one.
And there certainly seems to be a lot of support for a Chelsea victory in this one. But a few of us have to go against the grain. Surely that start to the season wasn't a complete fluke for Spurs. Surely. By all means, I'm not following the win probability model on this one, but I do think we'll end up seeing these shares spoiled in this game. Yep, I appreciate that we have spun the show around this week, but it's all with good reason, as we will now take a look at the rest of Sunday's games, where our win probability model believes we will see Manchester United and Leicester come out on top. United needing to bounce back following their disappointing result against the young boys in midweek, and maybe facing off against former manager David Moyes will be the perfect tonic. You see, since leaving United in 2014, he has failed to win any of his 7 games against the Red Devils in all competitions. Whilst for the Foxes, Jamie Vardy could become the first Leicester player to reach 250 Premier League appearances in this match. He is the Foxes' leading appearance maker. He's also their leading goal scorer with 120 and their leading assist provider with 39. He is one of 3 players to lead all 3 metrics for a single club in the competition, alongside Wilfried Zaha at Crystal Palace and Troy Deeney at Watford. We'll keep rolling backwards through the weekend's action now, turning to the late game on Saturday, where Rafa Benitez will be hoping to keep an incredible run going, this time as Everton manager. You see, in all of his 17 previous matches against Aston Villa, he has suffered defeat just once. And that defeat did not come at Villa Park, where he has won 4 and drawn 5 in all competitions against the Villains. Well, according to our win probability model, that will come to a close this weekend, as it is making Villa favourites to take victory here with a 39.2% chance of doing so. They are unbeaten in their last 4 league games against the Toffees, winning 2 and drawing 2. This is having only won 2 of their previous 15 Premier League meetings against Everton. The man who could fire them to victory in this one is Danny Ings, and he's taken a bit of a liking to scoring against Everton, having done so 5 times in the Premier League. That's the team he has scored against the most, and it doesn't matter what jersey he does it in. He's done it for Burnley, he's done it for Liverpool, and he's done it for Southampton. Maybe he'll add Aston Villa to that rank this weekend. Now, this was proving a great watch as the votes rolled in, with all 3 outcomes taking the lead at different times. It looked for quite a while like you would be heading towards an Everton victory, but instead some late votes have turned this into a draw. If it does end in either of those outcomes, then it will be the 2nd consecutive season that the Toffees have started a campaign unbeaten after 5 games, the first time they will have done this in their league history. So Ollie, are you following suit?
Next up is actually the most played fixture in the history of English League football. Aston Villa take on Everton. We'll start with the away side. Everton obviously off to a great start of the season. They're unbeaten in the league and sit joint top with 10 points. Demarai Gray and Dominic Calvert-Lewin have been in inspired form in attack, scoring 3 goals apiece. So, it's been a very, very good start for the Toffees. Looking at their away form in particular, this has been strong for a while now. They've lost just 2 of their last 17 Premier League away games, and that was against Chelsea and Man City. So they've been very tough to beat on the road. That said, Villa are unbeaten at home this season and actually currently enjoying a 4-match home unbeaten run dating back to May of this year. So I think this points to a draw, to be honest.
The majority of the team believe we will be seeing a draw at the end of the day, whilst there's always one brave soldier who believes in Rafa Benitez, believes in the wait in history, believes in the unbeaten side, and I'm going for an Everton victory. So here's the rest of the Saturday slate for you, with some tantalising 3 PM kickoffs to enjoy, including Manchester City looking to join an elite group if they record another 5-0 victory. They've won each of their last 3 home Premier League games by such a scoreline, and only 2 top-flight teams have won 4 consecutive home matches by a 5-goal or more margin, that being Everton in 1931 and Aston Villa way back when in 1899. Our win predictor model here at least has them coming out on top in this one, as well as believing we'll be seeing victories for Wolves, Watford, Liverpool and Arsenal. And we end this week's show at the beginning as we look forward to the Friday night clash at St James's Park, where if Leeds aren't victorious, then they might begin to feel the heavy weight of history upon their shoulders. You see, they haven't failed to win any of their opening 5 league matches in a top flight campaign since the 1946-47 season, in which they were relegated and recorded the lowest points total in the club's history. So, some good news for Marcelo Bielsa and his side. Our win probability model believes they will come out on top here with a 41% chance of being successful, but they'll need to also shake off some patchy Friday form. They've alternated between defeat and victory in each of their last 6 Premier League away games played on Fridays, beating Fulham 2-1 in their last such match. Now, even if they aren't victorious, we are expecting Newcastle to find the back of the net in this one. They've only failed to score once in their last 15 league meetings against Leeds. The trouble for them is it's been conceding goals. They've conceded 12 so far this season, the most in the Premier League, and they've also recorded the highest XG against total so far this season at 10.5. And adding all of that together, you in the Opta Analyst community are backing Leeds to be victorious tonight. And maybe that will fall on Steve Bruce's shoulders. After winning 7 of his first 9 games as a manager against Leeds, he has won just 1 of his last 9 against the Whites in all competitions. So Ollie, what do you think will be the outcome in this one?
Both Newcastle and Leeds are of course winless so far in the league this season, and both will be keen to change that fact come Friday night. For me, this game just screams goals. Newcastle have let in 12 so far this season. That's more than any other side. And they also have the highest XG against figure in the competition this term. Then you have Leeds. Leeds, no side has faced more shots than Leeds so far. And that average of 7 shots on target faced per game is the highest on record in a single Premier League campaign. In attack, both ranked towards the bottom of the table in terms of XG created, although Leeds have faced harder opponents thus far. So, given that, I think Leeds have the attacking firepower to beat Newcastle here in a thrilling game.
So a real clean sweep across the board here, and I can fully understand why. But at some point, Newcastle's fortunes are going to have to change. And whilst I don't believe that they will be victorious tonight, I do believe that Dean Street will at least have a bit more of a smile upon its face with the Magpies picking up a point. So that's it for this week on the Analyst Hat-Trick. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Don't forget to follow us on our Twitter account at @OptaAnalyst for all the latest insights from the weekend of Premier League action. And of course, make sure you head over to theanalyst.com as well, the home of data-driven storytelling. But for now, I've been Graham Bell, and until next time, goodbye.